Hey guys, Wheatywaffle here today, and we are back with a brand new Cities Skylines series for 2022. This here is going to be our brand new map. Probably a few weeks back, I asked in a community post if you guys wanted to see what type of biome you guys wanted to see, and overwhelmingly you guys had said either, I think 29% said desert, and then 23 or 24% said forest or plains. So I tried to get like the best of all worlds here. This is actually the what was it called? I think arid plains. It's a map that comes with the natural disasters. No, it comes with a mass transit DLC. So it's a mass transit DLC map that comes from Paradox, and I just added, using like the theme mixer and some relight settings, just tried to make it look a bit more like a desert and a bit more arid. And then we have the trees and things, but they've been switched around a bit, so we have some cactuses and we have some like grass and things, just so that it feels a bit more like a desert than it did originally, while still giving us plains and hills and some just interesting places to work with. Like we have this little lake. We do have a train line that kind of cuts through this direction and it ends up over here. And then there's another train that comes over this way. There's a train that ends here, but they don't actually go anywhere. So this is, definitely the center area where the city is going to be, or where they want you to start at least. Let's get into it. What we're going to do today is just kind of get the ball rolling. I think I'd like to try to unlock both Little Hamlet and maybe Worthy Village if we can. This series I am going to be doing it a bit differently. I want to try to try out new mods throughout. I was a little afraid to do that in the last series just because I didn't want anything to break, and I didn't have a good enough handle on how mods worked to do that confidently. But I think this time around I'm ready to take your suggestions and use them while building the city. So if you have any mod suggestions, let me know. I do have two links in the description. One that is for I'm doing it a bit differently this time. One that's like my essential mods list. So that's going to be where I put all of the mods, like this utility bar up top and move it and all of those things that you need pretty much for all of my series. And then I'm going to have a series specific folder that is, or a collection that is just for buildings and assets and the things that were only relevant to this particular series. But what we're going to do, I do want to go ahead and just kind of do a little bit of a grid here at the beginning, just so that we can get some people in here, get some money going. Let's actually pause it while we do this. So we'll just do like a small little gridded village, just so that we can get our taxes in a place where we're making positive money. And what I'm thinking for this series is we're going to do this, I think what I'm going to call it is rebuild or redevelop. So for this series, once we get to 1,000 residents, which will hopefully be by the end of this episode, I want to go in and I want to turn on both the 81 tiles mod. There's no reason for us to wait super long like we did last time. And I want to turn on the natural disasters DLC. What I'm thinking will happen is with both of those turned on, we are going to then turn on the natural disasters and let them hit the city when they will, destroy things when they do. That's why I really did want a map that had like a waterfront so we could get tsunamis, but we could also get all of the other disasters. And as our city gets destroyed over time, when a decent portion of the city gets destroyed, and what I'll do is I'll leave end the episode at that point, and I will leave a community post up that asks you guys if we should rebuild the part that was destroyed just like it was. So whatever we had before, just put that back. Or if we should redevelop a part of the city. So, if the downtown gets destroyed or like a really big park gets destroyed, should we keep those things and rebuild them just like they were? Or instead, should we, now that that stuff is gone, should we redevelop that into something maybe more useful for the city at the time that, it gets destroyed by a natural disaster? So we'll see how it goes. If they get too frequent, we might turn it off a bit or turn it down. But I was thinking we might start with like a 75%. Let's see, if I go to this now, it might even be turned on by default. Yeah, use random disasters, and it's at 75%. So what I'll do is I'm going to go also and put on the 81 tiles mod once we get enough people here, but we'll turn that on pretty early on this series so that there's more space for the natural disasters to hit, but it's just going to give us a bit of an extra challenge. So I've gone ahead and put down our road layout. We've got a little bit of water here. We need to do a power line. I'm actually going to use these are the suburban power lines that I used in Westfield, my last series. I absolutely love these power lines. These are the greatest thing. So let's bring this straight on down. And what I love about them, besides the fact that they carry the power with them, is that it doesn't destroy all the zoning. So like it just destroys the area where the power line sits, but around it you can still put zoning, which is just fantastic. Let's bring one over this way, and then it'll get itself together once we start putting some people in here. So let's go ahead and throw down a few people here, as well as here. We'll leave a little row here for an alley once we unlock those things. And we still have 11,000, so maybe we'll do just one more. Ooh, there we go. One more 20 by 20 little grid space. All right, there we go. So let's go ahead and fill all this in. And I guess we can hit play now. Go ahead and get some people to fill in this area. We'll speed it up. And there we go. Now, it's currently named Rockwood. That is not what we're naming this. Unnamed. Whatever you guys want to name it in the comments, let me know if you have any suggestions. I don't, at the moment, have any ideas. Ooh, we don't have any water. We have sewage, but not water. Let's put down a water tower since we are in the desert. But I'm open to pretty much any suggestions. I haven't really thought about what this would be named. With Westfield, we kind of waited until we were far enough along that the city felt like it had, you know, its own identity. So I figure we'll do the same with this. All right, so it's starting to get a little cold. And the reason that I wanted to do a map like this, where it kind of combined the elements of both the plains as well as the desert, is because I didn't want to have just a big sandy map. I don't know. I just felt like that would get boring really quick to look at. And if every episode was super sandy and there wasn't many just like geographical things that were interesting, or I don't know. I feel like it could get pretty boring to look at over and over. So we'll do it this way, and then if maybe a better theme comes along, I think there's this arid desert theme that I found on the workshop. It's in the description too, but I'm using that as like the main base, and I mix in a few other things just to make the textures a bit nicer. But if there's any other ideas you guys have, or any themes or things you find that you think would look good in this city, let me know. I'm happy to kind of update my mods list a bit more this time around. All right, so let's do this here. We're gonna need another road coming this way once we unlock all the tiles. And then I think what we'll do, it might be a bit early to put more commercial down, but we'll put some commercial there so that we can then fill this in, kind of give it a bit of a buffer from those guys. I'm also using, what is this, like the Networks extension mod? Yes, Networks extension mod, which gives us so many more roads. So like, for example, since this is gonna be the area where all of our industry is, typically you have these 2-lane roads that are like the normal roads that come with the game, but we can also upgrade those to like a small 4-lane road. Since we know there's gonna be so much traffic over here because we've got all of this, we can kind of plan in advance to make a mini avenue almost. I'm so excited to use all of these. Ooh, I maybe went too far because now we're out of cash, but I think we'll be able to bounce back. Oh, maybe we won't be able to bounce back. Oh, hold on. I know what we can do. We can turn down some of these budgets for now. That should help us. Do we still have enough? Electricity, we're okay or fine. And water, we're also fine. Okay, great. As long as you work, and now we're back in the positive with our income, this will start going back again. Okay, great. So the first milestone we need to reach is 500 people. I think that one's gonna be pretty easy. As long as we've got enough spaces for zoning, we'll be okay. We'll actually I'm gonna leave this corner piece here for another like build a business, but we'll go ahead and fill in that little bit. Just gives another little spot. And then we don't really need much else for now, so we're gonna hold off. So this is all moving and grooving. We're at 427, almost there. Now we are running low on zonable areas, so let's go ahead and expand this guy here. and that'll probably push us over the edge that we need. All right, here we go, Little Hamlet. So we did get taxes, which is great because that's something we're gonna put on right away, just kind of up those taxes. And then garbage, healthcare, and education. All right, let's go ahead and before I forget, I did a little bit of testing earlier and I completely forgot to change this when I said I was going to in my test. So let's go ahead and change this to 10, 11, and 12. Let's double check our power. So we're gonna need a bit more power here. Let's bring this to 75. And then we probably need a bit more water. So we'll bring this to 75 too. Right, let's let those take effect. We're good here. We're good here. Great. I'm not worried about the roads just yet. Let's put down the garbage, the landfill. And just because it's too early for us to do anything fancy, we're going to anarchy this right in here. I'm not worried about the power line cutting through. It's a landfill. That's fine. But now that we have that down, we can go ahead and put some zoning right behind it. So we've got a landfill. And then I do also want to put down a clinic. We left this little corner bit open, but it's not yet enough. Maybe we put it here. I don't mind that. Put that right there. This really isn't ideal for housing, so we're going to skip that. I will go ahead before I forget and just put down a little strip here of commercial, except for there, because I don't want them on this main road. There's not really a good way for them to get back. So we'll put that there. Got a bit more commercial. Now let's expand our grid just a bit. And we won't do a grid forever. We're just going to do this for like the initial start so that I've got enough of a tax base to support us growing and making significant progress each episode. All right, let's end it there. And let's come back to the water pipes. 400, ooh. 1,000, okay, and then we need a bit more. We need another 400 bucks. Let's speed it up. Come on, people. Give me that money. Let's collect them taxes. All right. Now we've got all that. Let's go ahead and... Oh, actually, we do have a demand for commercial. That's great. Put a little bit of commercial down there. We'll go ahead and make all of this houses. We'll make all of this houses. But I do want to think about, once we get a bit more money, I want to think about going, like starting a curve this. I don't want to yet deal with this raised area, but I think that would also just give us some a nice interest. Because we've got a grid, like let's start breaking it up. We'll curve this way, maybe start heading this way. And since we're going to unlock everything, we really have the ability to build whatever we want. So as we're doing this, if we have ideas that maybe aren't in the area of land we get by default, we can just unlock them and move somewhere else. So if you're like, oh, let's build, a massive rocket over here, as long as we can afford it, let's go for it. Maybe we'll even start with some smaller towns and we'll like somehow create a city. I don't know. I have a lot of ideas. Tell me what you're thinking in the comments below. I think once all these houses move in, we're going to actually probably want to up this power a little bit. So why don't we go ahead and just put that at 100%. Let's bump this to 80. Tiny little town is developing. We're at 773 people. Once we get to, 20,000? 10,000. We can actually go ahead and build an elementary school. I think we're just going to keep expanding until then, though. Why don't we do this? How much were these? They're pretty expensive. 80 per cell. So this is $400. I think we do it anyway. I think we do 2 of these. And we bring this out another 10. And then we're going to switch this up just a bit. Back away these 3. It's going to make that disappear, which is fine. Let's go ahead and put down some more commercial here now that this road is a bit more upgraded. It's a bit larger. But I do want to maybe think about including small pockets of industrial throughout parts of the city. So like if this came down this normal road and eventually it would connect up here. Let's just actually do that now instead of waiting. Back this up. We'll bring this out one more. And then from here, okay, yeah, now we'll definitely go ahead and curve. But now that we have that, like what if we kind of hide it from the main road with a small building there, and then we just have a small little strip of industrial. Nothing crazy, just a little bit, but enough that not everyone is stuck in one part of the city. All right, we're gonna do this. We'll bring this up, and I guess we'll bring it around. I'm gonna try to stay under the road. I can't promise it will last, but we're gonna try. This will absolutely be residential. This area here will only go 3 back, just because we're close to the highway. It'll help a little bit with the noise, and that looks pretty nice. And we will actually clear out that one, because we can put a little winding path or something once that's unlocked. All right, we're not at 10,000 yet. How are we doing with water and power? Power's fine, water's doing okay. We're getting there. It's looking good. And then I think we could wait, but I kind of want to map it out a bit. Is there like a free road, or what does this cost me? 20 per cell, 30 per cell, 20, 27, 20, 27. Oh, and with this, we've got like pedestrian roads, which is so cool. I've never used these, so I'm excited to put those and see what those can do. But I'm thinking this will come up. We'll bring it up 5. And then we'll curve it this direction. But that's going to be our major road that goes over this way. And where it goes, I don't know. But now we also have this kind of set up as an avenue, so this will be able to be used to kind of get people and push people through. And then we can even begin to push people underneath this highway because it's all bridged. All right, so we've reached Worthy Village, 1,000 population. We're not going to worry about new areas because we're going to go ahead and just unlock all with the 81 tiles mod. But then we also got districts, policies, specializations, emergency services, self-sufficient buildings, organic and local produce, power usage, water usage. All right, so let's go ahead and think about putting down a fire station. But before we do that, let's unlock all 81 tiles, since that is kind of how this is going to work. So unlock all tiles for free. We're going to give it a second to load. You can see with this bar back here, when this bar starts to expand, it's like buying each tile. All right, so now we have the whole map, which is fantastic. So we can kind of build wherever we want. But with this all unlocked, let's just triple check that our disasters are on. Use random disasters. Random disaster frequency, it's about 75-ish%. So now whenever we get disasters, and I guess I probably should turn on use dynamic weather, but now whenever we get disasters, we'll have to deal with it. Deal with it as it comes. Let's go ahead and place down a fire station before we forget. I don't want too much time to pass and this not happen. So this is just the European version, that they're both $1,200 or $12,000. I'm thinking here is not a bad idea. If we do it here, we'd have one little space on each side. Let's do that. I'm happy with that. But now we have a fire station that should have water and power and all of that. And let's just double check we're doing fine on both. How are we doing with our trash? 2%. Okay, great. I will use the last bit of money we have. I want to do one more row here to kind of cap this off. And now that this is here, we're pretty good on that side. And then we'll actually we've got 12,000. Let's upgrade this so that this 4-lane comes to here. From here it can end. I think we're happy with it at that point. But now we've got enough space to go ahead and just fill in this with some houses, fill in this with a bit of industrial, and maybe we'll use the rest of our money to go ahead and bridge over. 23, will 23 be enough? Perfect. We'll bridge over, because if we bridge over here, we should be able to connect, I would think. Can this fit underneath? It can. All right, we should be able to fit over here, which is great. Let's actually extend this so that this is a full 20 units. And then that will give me, keep lining up with these pillars. We'll just anarchy this through. And if these pillars are in the way, we can just kind of scooch them back just a bit. All right, so now we've got this road. We can go ahead and connect these together, which I think we're going to do with just a straight road. 3,500. Whew. But it gives another way to get around Now, eventually we'll probably want to change this to a different type of intersection, and I might even think about getting rid of this entirely and instead extending this avenue over, bridging up or maybe going underneath and doing a more traditional kind of interchange. We'll see. We have some more demand for for industrial, and with our bridge now built, I think we go ahead and fill in this side. I don't want to get too close to this. I'm realizing now I might have built this in a bad spot because it's gonna pick up fresh water to areas without the need of a body of water close by. Drinking water pollution, 13%. Yeah, it's polluted. What am I doing? All right, let's move this. Maybe a bit of pollution here. I think we move this maybe we move it over here near the highway. It's out of the way. It's got power, but now our drinking water shouldn't be polluted, because that was kind of stupid. Average ground pollution 7%, not a big deal. All right, we are having some water issues. Is that just because I removed the water? Yes and no. We are getting a bit tight here, so let's just bring that to 100. And at this point, we've got enough money. Let's bring that to 100 as well, so we don't forget to fix that. But now this is good, and then the pollution has dropped to 0. Okay, great. Glad we caught that. All right, we need 10,000 to build an elementary school. And we can't really afford any of the items in here. Let's just let this kind of hang. What's the next milestone? We just got Worthy Village, 1,600. All right, we might actually hit the 3rd milestone here in this first part. But I want to also make sure we get a school in here, just because people are going to need to be educated. We'll use this school. And I feel like if we placed it over in this area, that would cover this whole neighborhood. But while we wait, we can do a little zoning. All right, great. So now we've got these 2 districts set up. I do want to make sure that this building finds its way in here, and any future buildings that are there can kind of find their way too. There we go. I did also download, I haven't messed with these a lot yet, but I do have the intersection marking tool and the node controller tool. I still need tons of work in terms of understanding how these work, because I don't really know yet, but we're gonna figure it out together. I think like going like that, it makes it a larger intersection in the middle. What does this do? If I bring this down here, okay, just kind of shortens it up. But we could bring this like this, and then we've got a much nicer little area. And then like with this guy, I was just kind of messing with this earlier, but like it's kind of nuts. I can go from here to here, to here, to here, to here. All right, and this is what I did earlier. We can fill it with not gravel. I think it's pavement. Yes, pavement. And then raise it to 0.4 to get rid of that little bit of clipping. And now we have like a little, no, that's not it. Here we go. We can curve the median so that it like looks nicer. Okay, there we go. We've got this like little median here in the middle. That's wild. Wild. All right, actually, before we get too crazy though, let's just make sure that I didn't send anyone to places they can't go. You guys go straight, you guys go straight, you guys go straight, and you guys go straight. And they can transfer somewhere there. But yeah, so we've got all those kind of details and things that we can add in here, which is really exciting. We'll have to mess around with those later. Let's add in our school, which I wanted to put, I think over here is a nice spot. And then just to kind of round it out, let's also put like a little corner store strip right next to it. We don't yet have enough. I think they're 20,000, 12,000. All right, let's, well, you know what? The crime can't be that bad. We don't have enough workers. Yeah, we got to work on that. So we're going at 1 speed. So don't need to slow anything down. We will just fill in these 2 spots. So we've got enough workers. So next time we're going to have to worry about getting our police, which we're almost there. So we'll be fine. But I think that's where we're going to leave this part here. We've got a little bit of a town starting. We have how many people? 1,200 people. Looking pretty good. It's a little too square for my taste. So I think in the next part, we're going to really start breaking this grid up. Once we unlock parks and things, it's a bit easier to kind of visualize that. At the beginning, you just really want to kind of pack people in so we can make enough money to do what we got to do. But this is looking pretty good. We've got to deal with the crime issue, but then we're going to see when our first disaster will hit. All right, guys, thank you so much for watching. I really appreciate it. If you enjoyed this episode, go ahead and hit that like button. And if you have any suggestions or feedback, leave them in the comments below. As always, I did link my Steam collections in the description, as well as a link to the Discord. I am back on social media a little bit, so I will be back on the Discord and kind of engaging with you guys there. And yeah, I think that's it for this particular episode. So I'll see you in the next one.